Let's meet a collegiate national finals champion, a WPRA Rookie of the Year. Not one, not two, but 3 qualifications to the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo. CEO of the Ride Fearless brand and host of the Ride Fearless Show. This is Sydney Blanchard.
Hello, Las Vegas, and welcome to the Ride Fearless Show. I am your show host, Sydney Blanchard, and today we have some phenomenal rodeo athletes here. You are going to meet NFR qualifiers, 12-time NFR qualifiers. Basically, anybody who you've ever wanted to meet is right here on the show today. But first, please welcome our opening musical guest, Olivia Joy. Olivia, tell us a little about yourself. Where are you from?
So originally I'm from New Mexico and I now live in Granbury, Texas. Super fun. I claim New Mexico as my roots, but I am also a Long Beach Texan now, so.
And that's what I love about you. I'm from New Mexico, Derrick Begay is from New Mexico. We are New Mexico proud, and that is where I'm going to pretend like you're still from.
Yes, exactly. We got lots of New Mexico folk in the crowd.
It's just in your blood. Once you live there, you can't get rid of it.
Literally. And you can't get turquoise better than New Mexico. You know what I mean?
Amen to that, yes. Did you bring a song today that has a special meaning to you?
Yes. My newest single that I released, it's called He's a Cowboy, and it is kind of a true story on my life. It's a cheeky song, but I was really proud of it, and it's something me and my dad completely did the whole process together, and getting to do that hands-on and really make the song your own and make it yourself is really fun.
Well, we look forward to hearing it today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Stay tuned after Olivia sings 2 beautiful songs I'm very excited about. Some of my favorites. You will meet NFR qualifier Megan Sprague, as well as 12-time NFR team roper Derrick Begay.
You keep saying you got something for me, something you call love, but confess. And you've been messing where you shouldn't have been messing, and now someone else is getting all your best. These boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you. Ironic that I'm wearing these shoes today, isn't it? You keep lying when you ought to be truthing, and you keep losing when you ought to not bet, and you keep saying where you shouldn't have been changing. But what's right is right, and you ain't been right yet. These boots are made for walking, that's just what they'll do. One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you. Mr. Darren Morehouse, everybody. Boots are made for walking, that's just what they'll do. One of these days, these boots are gonna walk off. Boots are made for walking, that's just what they'll do. One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you. Thank y'all so much. That song's special to me too. It's from my childhood, and my mom was always like, "You gotta do that song. It reminds me so much of you growing up." So This next one we're going to do is my newest single released. It's called He's a Cowboy, and it does fit the NFR perfectly, so y'all stream it. I was raised by a preacher. I know all 12 disciples of Jesus. Mama put me in dresses while I played in the dirt. Said, but raised in a country girl, what could it hurt? That's when they came into my life. Those handsome devils under arena lights. Daddy's a cowboy. Yeah, he'll break my heart, but he sure knows how to spin me around the dance floor of the bar. He's a cowboy, it'll hurt like hell, but Daddy, I just can't help myself. When he backs in the box, his white labels on my better judgment is all gone. There's not much more that I can say. Loving cows is a good type of thing. I was out at the NFR, found a real good guy that sold my heart while he broke it just the same. Hell, I don't care, it didn't change my taste. If loving cowboys is wrong, well, I don't wanna be right. I'm not on this earth for long, so I might as well have a good time. Daddy's a cowboy, can't break my heart, but he sure knows how to spin me around the dance floor of the bar. He's a cowboy, it'll hurt like hell, but Daddy, I just can't help myself. When he backs in the box, his white labels on my better judgment is all gone. There's not much more that I can say. Loving cowboys is a good type of pain. Daddy's a cowboy, yeah, he'll break my heart, but he sure knows how to spin me around the dance floor of the bar. He's a cowboy, it'll hurt like hell, but Daddy, I just can't help myself. When he backs in the box, his white labels on my better judgment is all gone. Not much more that I can say. Loving cows is a good type of pain. Yeah. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Olivia, for opening for the most fearless show in Las Vegas.
Yes, I'm honored. Thank you so much for having me.
I specifically really enjoyed that song because, you know, as cowgirls, we all have that story on how we met our cowboy.
Yes, exactly. And that was my thing is I was like, writing it, I feel like you could be called Buckle Bunny, but I'm not. So I was like, hey, I can do this. I'm allowed to. And yeah, it's a true story. So.
And bringing them home to dad is the hardest part.
Oh, for sure, for sure. They run a tight ship. Dad and moms and everyone in the family, they're all like, treat our girl right.
Where can we find you next?
So I'm going to be out at the Fort Worth Stockyards actually on the 14th. So day after we get back from here, we're going there. And then we're in the studio a lot. So we have 8 new songs that we're in the process of recording. So y'all will definitely want to follow along at Olivia Joy Music or my website, oliviajoymusic.com.
Well, we all look forward to following you, hopefully right there in Fort Worth.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you again for coming. Thank you. Gosh, she's fun, right? She's like, yeah. It must be that New Mexico sass. Please welcome everybody, Anna for Qualifier. You have been watching her compete every night right here at the Thomas and Mack Megan Sprague. Some of your highlights. Oh, confidence is so I need to yes, I need that. All right. Well, you've been here now as a rookie for 6 rounds or 7. It kind of just all goes together.
Yeah, they're blending now.
How's it been going? How are you and Jag handling it?
You know what? I think we're doing okay. We definitely didn't get the start we hoped for. I gave him 9 weeks off. He had not seen a barrel since Sioux Falls when I showed up here on Thursday morning. So that was possibly a mistake. I don't know. I haven't quite decided on that yet. Took him a couple rounds to settle in. Making okay runs, holding our own. Haven't won the money we hoped, but we got through 3 more tries.
The 9 weeks, was that intentional or did he need the break?
No, actually no. If it was up to him, he would have run every day. He loves his job, and he's a warhorse. And so no, Becca and my husband and I talked about it on the way home from Sioux Falls. He's 14, so I'm taking every run for what it is. You just never know. And I kind of had thought about running him, but what are you going to go do? Run him for $200 at a local jackpot and risk hurting him? It didn't really make sense to me to do that.
That's so true. And then everything was shut down because of the EHB, so no one had a choice.
Right, and the other funny thing about that was I had intended to work him at my house, and I winter in Arizona. And we got major storms. In fact, I posted on my Facebook, we had a river running through our place. I couldn't even ride. I didn't get to ride the week before the NFR. Yeah. Because EHV had everything shut down. I couldn't haul off my place, and I didn't have anywhere to ride. So it was a challenge, to say the least.
So you might have the freshest horse here.
Yeah, I think maybe.
Well, I've had that same experience, but it was unfortunate. I had a horse tie up, and then another one colic last time I made the NFR, and so it was months prior that they had never had a run. So our first run was at the Thomas and Mack, and it was the first time that I thought to myself at round 10, I sure wish there was 5 more rounds.
It's funny. My vet, he's like a father to me. He came down for round 5, I think it was. And, put some eyes on Jag, and we had a great experience. And we were visiting, and he said, you know what I wish? He said, I wish everybody had to run the same horse for 20 rounds. He said, I have no doubt who the world champion would be. Oh, wow. So that was pretty special.
That is special. It's quite the compliment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, speaking of Jag, he has his own fearless story. Tell us a little about that.
He does. So I bought Jag, actually, I bought him for myself on my birthday in 2021. Long story short, was a real good friend of mine called me. I wasn't looking for a horse, and said, hey, this is your guy. He had next to no money won. And I went and looked. I knew the second I laid eyes on him that he was my guy. And he it took me a little while to get him fit and in shape. And we went for a couple of years. I struggled with his feet a little bit. He's got real funky feet. Trying to get him shod right. All the things you do. And finally got that put together. And he had. I still don't know how. I think just out of runs. He had an injury in his back last year. Right up until I won the first round at Reno. I was like 10th in the world, I want to say. And won the first round, placed in the second round, won 5th in the average at Reno. We drove all night. My kids had a junior rodeo the next morning, of course. So no rest for the wicked, right? And we drove all night, bless my husband's heart. Got home at 5 a.m. He had drove, and I said, you go in, take a nap, because we had to turn around and leave at 7. And I turned Jag out. He's got a really nice pin with a pasture off at this pin. And he trotted off, and my heart sank. I honest to God, thought he broke his pelvis.
Oh no.
He was that hurt.
Yeah.
And he had come off his run great the night before. Yeah. So I don't know what happened in the trailer, or what, if it was just the standing in the trailer. I don't know why it came out then. And my heart sank. I didn't know what to do. I called my vet at 5 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday morning, and it, was bawling. We were supposed to turn around and leave for the 4th of July run the next day. And I really didn't think I'd ever run again at that point. So it was about 8 months. We couldn't figure out what was wrong. I called him all over the country, every vet I could get him to. We ended up in Cave Creek, which was convenient, 5 minutes from my house. And he stayed at a rehab center in Scottsdale for like 3.5 months. And got him in January. I got him out and took him to a jackpot, because I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen.
It was there.
Yeah, I think it might have been. And I ran him, and I was right behind Dusty Lynn Hall on the yellow horse, Wally. And of course, she is an amazing kid, and goes out and like kicks our butts in the 1D. And I was next out, and I ran smooth into the 2D. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't know if I have a horse, I don't know.
2D's not that bad, behind us.
Behind us, right? And but this was actually kind of funny, having a team rover here. Anybody, I know a lot of people don't get to see the behind the scenes stuff, but Jag he's a wild man. And I have to, my husband doesn't have a choice whether he gets to go with me or not, because I can't get on it if he's not holding him. He's wild. And anyway, so I stepped on him. We took him to Fort Worth, and I'm like, you know what? I got to give him a chance. And I had made the one run on him. It wasn't that pretty. And I went to get on him in the warm-up pen. And right as I went to swing my leg over him, which is not easy to do anyway, this team roper buzzed his rope. And Jag grabbed his butt and took off, and I'm, grabbing for reins, and I almost fell off. The team roper's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry."
Dang it, Derrick.
And the poor guy, he was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." And I like, it sparked something in him, and I knew his whole demeanor changed. And I'm pretty sure I won the round.
He liked it.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I wish I could find out who he was, because he changed my gear.
Well, did Buck start roping after that?
Well, he needs to.
It's for the family. It's for the love of the game.
That's right.
You've got to do it. So you've had a lot of horses through the years. You bought your card in '97.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Beats me a little bit.
No, I looked it up. I was like, there's no way she's our age. And I was like, we're that age.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And I was grandfathered in. I actually got my card at 14.
Okay.
So that helps with
that makes me feel better. Yeah. So anyways, you've had your card all of these years, yet this is your first NFR. You've had a multitude of phenomenal horses. I mean, you've made circuit finals. I think you won your circuit finals. Yep. You won Calgary. And no, but I you won around at Calgary.
I won some
there. Yeah. You were a winner, and that is what I remember. We got to go with my memories because they're very high wins. Yeah, but you won prestigious rodeos. You won circuit finals. You qualified for circuit finals on several different horses. What are the qualities that Jag has over the horses that you've competed on throughout your years?
I have been real fortunate. I've rode a multitude of great horses. I really only went hard on one who was actually very closely related to Jag in the earlier 2000s that I tried to make the finals on, and he was a Dash to Fame out of a Murder Blur mare, and real similar qualities to Jag, actually. Just it's funny because most people like the horses real broken in their hands, and I do. I need that. But they're race horses, man. You gotta have some go.
But you like that. You like that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it took me growing up a little bit and developing my horsemanship to understand that. And I think that's why Jag works for me. I don't think there's very many people that would put up with him.
Yeah.
But again, dating myself at 43, I have learned that I gotta let him be him. If I tried to take that out of him, he wouldn't be the horse he is.
Yeah.
So, but back to your question, as far as they've got to have confirmation. They've got to have the parts, right? You're not gonna race a sedan car, So you got to have the confirmation. You got to have the speed. You got to have the breeding. A lot of people say you can't ride papers, and I think that's BS. I think you can.
So you rode papers all the way here to the NFL.
Exactly.
With Jag, what do you think his number one quality is that distinguishes him between himself and other horses that you didn't quite make the NFR on?
Grit. Yeah, it's pure grit. Like I said earlier, and I'll say it again, that horse loves his job. It was kind of a testament with Peanut Seed going down last night and finishing his run. We were actually talking about that afterwards. I think Jag would do the same thing. Yes, they're trained for it, but they love what they do. Yeah. You don't get here if they don't love their job.
There's amazing horses, and then there's the ones that do it because they love it.
Absolutely.
And that's the difference. I tell people that all the time. They'll come for a lesson, and they'll say, well, so-and-so wants me to school them this way and not pet them and not give cookies. And I say, well, if your horse doesn't like its job, and my horse does like its job, and they have the same amount of talent, which one's going to outrun the other?
Right. Absolutely.
So give it some cookies.
Exactly.
Speaking of last night, that had have been scary. I mean, Caitlin Scott being the first runner out, her horse slips in the hind end and then again in the front end. What were you thinking in the back? There's no TVs back there. Like once you leave the tent, you're in a concrete alley. It's like the concrete alley of doom or success. You really don't know.
Actually, they have put a TV up now, which I, honest to God, think that was my worst enemy last night. I was 8th out, and Kate, my heart is so broken for Caitlin. I think Peanut Seed's okay. I haven't talked to her this morning, so I don't really know. I can't speak for that for sure, but having a great NFR. I've been watching that horse all year. Man, she goes down, and I'm like, ugh. And I looked at back. I wasn't on Jag yet. I don't get on him until 4 or 5 girls before I go, and what am I going to do? Turn out? Come on. And I looked at, and Lisa was right behind me, and I looked at Lisa, and Lisa's face was white, and I'm like, oh no. And then, so I tried.
Oh no, Lisa!
I know. And so I'm like, okay, pull yourself together. You're on a good one. He's going to take care of you. Everything's going to be fine. And so I did. I kind of pulled myself together for a minute, and I got on my horse, and I happened to look up at the screen when Brittany ran. And, gosh, hucked up the goat, and she goes out there and she's just, she's riding like this, holding her horse up. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh no. And that's when my heart sank. What do you do? I got in the alley and I thought, okay, you're at the NFR. Yeah. What do you do? 36,000 and for the round. And I sent him down the alley and I quit kicking. The second I hit the mouth of the alley, I'm like, I can't hurt him. I can't do this to him. And I didn't ride very good. I rode good in that I helped him stand up. Yeah. But I hit the first barrel. I didn't ride him well. And I'm okay with that. I took care of my horse, and that's the most important thing. It was heartbreaking, honestly, but he's good this morning. He's happy. He's sound.
Yes.
He's ready to go tonight. I know Randy Sprague is over there right now working his butt off. It's not for sake of effort. They're trying.
And that'll give you some confidence.
Absolutely.
Going into tonight, knowing that he's over there working on that ground.
Absolutely. And I told Randy, I think it was round 4 maybe, and I was 14th out. And it had been a little sketchy the night before. And I called Randy, who's a friend of mine, and I said, hey, can I run Jag tonight? What am I doing?
Yeah.
I have a backup horse here. I didn't want to use him if I don't have to. And I called him, and he was there all day. And he called me about an hour before the curve started, said, you're okay to run your horse.
Right.
So, again, not lack of effort.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, to have that. Yep. Definitely. And, riding fearless doesn't mean just going out there, balls to the walls every single time and trusting the ground all the time. Sometimes riding fearless means go ahead and safety up, do what's best for your horse, and trust that God will take care of the rest.
Absolutely.
Because once we get anywhere, once anybody gets to any arena and they call your name, there is nothing you can do about it, right? You have no control. So you have to just go in there. I always say, get to my points and hope it works.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we've run on kind of crappy ground all year, and there's a lot of effort being made to improve ground conditions. But the reality is we're rodeoing, and Mother Nature plays a huge part, maybe not so much here being inside, but really it does, the humidity outside carrying into that building and, and then you're inside these concrete walls and, there's so much more that goes into it than a guy realizes.
Yeah.
So,
But I always say too, like we might talk about how difficult it is or how, bad the ground can be here. It still doesn't kill the dream, right? Like it's not like you're going to go home and start baking.
Oh, no. And you wouldn't let me to anyway. But no, in fact, we were just talking as we were up here and watching Olivia. And, we're at the NFR. Yeah. We're at the NFR. I mean, I've had my card for 26 years or whatever it's been. I've dreamed of these days. And I'm not going to let one night kill that dream. Yes. No way,
Absolutely. What is the legacy that you'd like to leave?
I think just not giving up. I had several text messages this week from friends of my kids are almost 14 and 9. And this has been fun for them to see that they're having a ball. I don't know how they're going to survive. They might sleep for 2 weeks while I get home. But it's been fun because they're big enough to experience this and see it and know that, maybe it happened later in life than I wanted to. But, we didn't give up and we kept going and, who cares if you're 42? In fact, kind of a neat story about Lisa Lockhart. I didn't realize this. I've known Lisa since I was a little kid. And she made her first NFR at 41 years old.
Oh, wow.
And
I didn't realize that.
Made her first NFR at 41 years old. She's been here 19 times straight now. I mean, and she's a legacy. She is a legacy, Right. So it's like, time doesn't have to matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you told me that.
Yeah.
I've been excited now. I'm like, okay, we got a lot of life to live.
Absolutely.
To this point. Before we close, I have a couple more questions. One, relaying off of what you were just talking about it, what advice do you have for others when it comes to being patient and waiting for the right horse?
That's a loaded question. I think I could sit here all day and talk about that, right? I think that it is just that. I've had a lot of horses in my career that I thought were my next big horse, and then either something happened or they didn't end up having the talent that I thought they would, or maybe not the grit, or, those kind of things. And I think we just all have to remember that this is on God's time. We can make all the plans we want, but God has a plan for us. And, as far as being patient goes, I guess you don't really have a choice in that, right? Like, sometimes you want to rush it, but you can't.
We were talking before the show started. I have lost a couple rodeo horses this year, which is almost like losing a family member and your business at the same time.
Absolutely.
But then you came in and you said, we were talking about how it makes you so much more grateful for the runs, for every ride, for the good times, and obviously to be here no matter how it's going, if you're hitting every barrel, or you can have the best 10 days of your life or the worst 10 days of your life, but if you're grateful, then you will remember it as... it'll just stick with you, you know what I mean? You will remember it forever. Yeah.
No, you're right. And, and I think we were just visiting, watching Olivia step up here and talking about living these dreams. And Buck said, man, this is just firing me up to go again next year.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, I've had a rough 8 days or whatever it's been. I mean, there's no denying that. But it's not going to stop me.
Yeah, you might have a rough 8 days, but you are on your heart horse running down an alley into the yellow arena that you dreamt about your entire life.
Right. It's a pretty special feeling, really. And here's the deal. Jack's just as capable of winning the round tonight as he was the first round or the last round. And, and so that's what we're here for.
You still have 3 more rodeos. It's not 3 more rounds. It's 3 more rodeos till the end of the season.
Absolutely. And, the biggest check I won all year was at Sioux Falls. And I won $37,000 at Sioux Falls in 4 rounds.
Yes.
We can do that in 1 round here.
Yes, absolutely. Well, before I have our next guest come up and before you leave, what is your advice to us on how to ride fearless?
Just keep believing in God. My vet said, when this whole EHD thing hit and I was panicking, what do? Do I take my horse? Do I borrow? I can't ask somebody to borrow their horse and put them in a situation I'm not going to put my own horse in, right?
Yeah.
So, when this whole thing hit and I'm not usually a panicker, but I went into panic mode a little bit and, because it was so close, right? And one thing that he said to me is, he said, don't live in fear. Don't let the fear take over.
Yes.
And I think that is just it. It's the belief in God and doing everything you can do to position yourself, your horses, your family, your friends, whatever it is. Do your best, pray on it, and let it happen.
Let it roll. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We all wish you good luck.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, good night. Megan's great, everybody. Megan's great. Oh, yeah. Please welcome everybody. 12 trips to the NFR. Our favorite team roper, Derrick Begay. Thank you, Derrick. We got some highlights of you right here. Just being you.
We'll start off with I don't have TikTok.
I don't know who I've been tagging in all those videos then.
Well, there's a few names out there, but I don't have TikTok.
You don't have TikTok.
Not yet, anyway. Not as of right now. It's just, I'm going to try to say that as much as I can because there's scammers out there that haven't come to aware of me that use my name and stuff and pictures and videos, and they say the right things to the people at a certain time and they get money out of them. So
Well, I'm sure happy I got the real Derrick Begay on stage. I wasn't talking to an imposter.
thanks. It's good to be here. It's been, 2 years? I didn't think I came here last year. 2 years. I sat right here with my partner, Coach Todd, so it's good to be back.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for coming. So I do these little videos, and everybody says their name, and I Ride Fearless. So I'm Sydney Blanchard, and I Ride Fearless. And then we make videos out of them. So I'm like, Derrick, let's do it. Let's do, the famous video. And and this is what happened. Oh, I don't have it on the thing. You're going to have
Okay.
to
Well, she asked me, she said, say it again.
Derrick, I'm going to take a video of you. And I need you to say, I'm Derrick Begay, and I Ride Fearless.
Okay, so I like to listen to the actual words that people ask me a question. She said, how do I ride fearless? And when it comes to riding, fear is always going to be there. It's and I can't say I ride fearless because there's a lot of times that I ride with fear, and there's a lot of times that fear was in the way where I didn't ride. So I think fear is something that's always going to be there. There's certain ways that you deal with it, and then there's certain ways that you're supposed to let fear maybe kind of control what you're going to do. And you said riding, I got thinking about getting on a horse because I do that a lot. There's sometimes that fear's gone the way on some things where I didn't ride, and then there's a lot of times that I had a lot of fear of getting on, but I just went ahead and got on anyway. So that's why I can't say I ride fearless.
Well, speaking of the story that you were just telling, I'm actually having that struggle where I've been bucked off a few times, even this year, getting on my colts, and I will round pin them, or, I don't ranch. I'm no cowboy like Derrick Begay, but I'll have somebody or ranch on them, something like that. But I still have that fear inside of me because I've had enough injuries of throwing a leg over what might be your next champion, but it takes a long path of getting there. How do you do it? How do you throw a leg over a horse when you do have that fear in the back of your mind?
For what I do, there's a job that needs to be done. When we're at home, there's a job that needs to be done on a horse, and you get in a certain situation where you have to get on that horse to get that job done. And that's the part where the fear is there of getting on. I'll put myself in a certain situation. Say I'm the only one home. I got to get on a horse that I know is most likely probably going to buck. And then things go into my head, okay, when I get on, when he bucks, there's a chance I'm going to fall off. And then there's a chance of me falling off the wrong way. And I'm not just, people say I'm a cowboy, but I'm just not cowboy enough to just pull my hat down, throw my leg over, and stick the spurs straight in. That was never me. I was always the one that was kind of careful and scared and putting some thinking involved in it. But the part where you have to overcome all that, that's all kind of depends on the certain situation that's at stake, the certain job that's at task, and what you're supposed to do that day. And there's a lot of times that I just don't get on just because I know. And what's funny is the national finals is going on right now, and there's say about a month or a couple weeks before the national finals rodeo, I start to think of, hey, I better probably not do that because there's a chance that I could get hurt. We spend all year trying to make the NFR, and then it gets closer. We're starting to get ready to head over there, and then there's sometimes I don't ride the bad horses that time of the year. I make sure I ride the older ones, the ones I know that are safe. But when it comes to horses, fear is always going to be there. Whether you're riding a really nice horse, whether it's you're not going to do anything but just ride, there's things that happen. That there's a saying out there that I think it's John Wayne says something about the fears is there, but you get on anyway. So that's the part where it goes on. It's just sometimes you just have to just get on anyway, because whether you popped off and said something or you're acting kind of bad, but there's some stuff that you gotta tell yourself that you want to try to accomplish that day, and then it makes you get on.
So you use a goal. Your goal has to be big enough to overcome the fear that day.
Yeah, you just don't just get on just because you want to just get on for the fun of it. There's kids, there's a certain age for that when it comes to cowboying. When you're young, and then you're in your 20s, and you think you're not going to get hurt. You don't know anything about getting hurt. You really have no responsibilities if you do get hurt. Those are all of the age, and I remember that time when I was that age, and there's really no fear there. But the older you get, I guess you get wiser, and then you get to see some things, and then you know what's at stake, and then you know what's better. There's too many good horses out there nowadays to try to get on saddle.
I like that a lot. So, speaking of goals, Pace told me that you were potentially thinking of retiring. I don't know if that's true, but if it is, what are the next steps for you?
I'm never gonna retire. It's rodeo's kind of always been there. I don't know what you call it when you. Seems like when you rodeo for a living, you either make the national finals or you don't. And that's the goal that we try to achieve when we go out and rodeo, and we go out and enter and put our names down. But when it comes to like retiring, I'm always gonna row, and then hopefully I always kind of have a horse around. Hopefully I'm gonna go to all the rodeos close to home. I'm gonna go to all the jackpots. I'm gonna keep roping as long as I can. But for at this level as making the NFR, I've been actually trying to get out the last 5 or 6 years. It just can't seem to get away from it because I enjoy it too much. And then it seems like I went at the right places. So when I do, like, they dangle the carrot right here, and it just makes me want to just keep going. I haven't got any signs from like God to tell me that, okay, this is it. This is where you need to slow down and then that kind of stuff. But I haven't got any of those yet. But that's been going on for the last few years. I've been wanting to slow down and stuff. But one thing I really enjoy doing besides the rodeo stuff is I like horses. I like being around horses, and I like cows, and I'm really into cows. Which have cows, have calves. I don't know what you call it. People call it ranching, but ranching sounds like it's cool. You know, you have a nice place, not a lot of nice, pretty cows. You get a lot of money. Everything's going good, and everything's run really well. And when you say ranching, that's what I think about. But on my deal, it's not. It's nothing like that. But that's what I'm already doing right now. Say if I were to not wrote tomorrow, I would be raising calves or taking care of cows and riding horses. And I got dogs and just doing whatever all that's called. That's what I'm doing right now. And when I do get done rodeoing, that's what most likely I'll be doing, unless something else. I don't see myself doing anything else. It has to be something involved around that.
Well, it'll be interesting watching you do whatever it is that you're going to be doing on your not ranch later in life. Also, speaking of that way of living, the cowboy way of living, what was it like growing up on the Navajo reservation, and how did it contribute to you becoming the fearless cowboy that you are today?
Growing up, where I grew up, it was on the Navajo reservation. There's a little town called Winslow in Arizona. There's a little community straight north of there, about 50 miles, a place called Tisco, a place called Saba. I was born in the town Winslow. It's called a bordering town. That's where we go to get our groceries and whatever we need in town. It's just a small town. I was born there, hospital, but I was raised back home on the Navajo reservation. I grew up with a grandpa and a grandma. They were always involved. They always had horses and sheep and animals around. They did the roping stuff, and my mom and dad on both sides, they also were involved in horses and roping and stuff. And so I grew up in rodeo. Grew up on the reservation. We lived a pretty simple life, small house. Just didn't have much growing up. I had everything, but not much growing up. Like, I guess you would call it money. I guess at the time I didn't know we didn't have it, but look back at now, yeah, we didn't have it, but we didn't know that. But went to school, rode the bus every day to school, come home, horses always around, always in the crowd, riding bareback, roping the sheep, roping the goats. We had an arena, so that was always there. But I went to school from first grade to sixth grade, close to home, probably a 30-minute bus ride back and forth. Then I went to junior high to high school in the town Winslow. That was probably about an hour and 20-minute bus ride one way. So we did that, and then so I grew up going to school, getting up. My mom and dad waking me up in the morning, get up, hey, eat some breakfast, and then eat something quick, and then get hauled to the bus stop, go to school. And you get home, you get picked up at the road, and you go home and just horses around, cows around. Grew up doing chores. I remember doing a lot of chores. I was feeding, throwing hay over the fence. I was filling up water, chasing sheep in and out, cows. So that was always around. And mom cooked dinner every night. There wasn't TV back then. There wasn't phones. It was a pretty simple life. I had quite a few aunts and uncles. They kind of lived close by, so we had all that. It was just out on the reservation, not much around. So that was it was a pretty good life that I grew up in. It was really simple. Mom and dad they were pretty strict, but they trusted who I was, so they let me go out and do stuff and stuff like that. But that was a little bit. There's a lot of things that come in my head, but it's a tough question when you say how was it like growing up on the reservation. But overall, it was good. It was good. Like maybe on the bad side, maybe we didn't have some of the resources that I would like at the time that I didn't know about. So to think back, we didn't have stuff like nice things or accommodate things or some stuff like that. But when you don't know it, you don't know. The summers were hot, the winters were cold. We had a fireplace, build fire every night, come home, take the ashes out, chop wood, haul water. So it was simple. We grew up with always had something to do. And one thing I do know and remember is you don't ever say you're bored or you don't ever say you have nothing to do where I was raised.
Yeah.
Because if you ever say that, they'll make you work way harder.
I'll give you something to do. I'm not gonna lie, Derek. It sounds a lot like a ranch.
Yeah, well, it's just I've been around Western United States a lot through the rodeo deal. I got to meet people. I got to meet people that actually have ranches, got money, nice houses, nice corrals. They have everything. It looks good. Nice pickups, nice trailers, nice horses, and it's pretty when you go there. Like, wow, man, this is like stuff you see in the movies. Like this is kind of a dream someday, maybe. But then you go to my place, it's kind of the opposite. So I like where I'm at.
I could imagine that we all agree that ranching is more of a way of life rather than a way of what you own and what you have accumulated throughout life. It's more of a way of life. When I look at you, I look at a cowboy, a rancher. But however, whether you feel that way or not, I'm sure when we look at you, we see all cowboy and everything that comes with that.
Try hard.
What are some of the key lessons that were passed down through your family growing up?
These are these are tough questions.
You were on the Right Fearless show, and I have gotten a lot better.
These are kind of loaded questions. Life. I can pick anything. My mom and my dad, my family, they taught me everything I know, and a lot of it was they almost let me try to figure it out myself. I mean, I can pick. I was talking about my mom and dad trusting me earlier a while ago. Let's talk about trust. Um, Trust is something that they tested me with, I believe, because trust, it doesn't cost anything. It's free, and it's all on what you do, how you act, and stuff like that. So I remember growing up, I was in high school. I want to say I was maybe 15, 16. And at that time, we got into roping goats. And they started having goat ropings a few different places away. They were probably maybe 15, 20 miles away from the house. And I was old enough to drive and stuff. And I remember the first time that I had to ask my mom if I could borrow her car to go rope goats. And I asked her, and I was like, I was pretty sure she was going to say no. But I asked her, she said, yeah, go ahead, take it. And I was thinking, man, there's a trick. Something's wrong. Because she had no problem with it. And I remember I took the car, went to the neighbors, picked the other kids up, and it was a big responsibility. I still remember this. I think I was 15. And I remember driving down the road, I picked up a couple other buddies, they were the same age as me. And I had a good grip on the steering wheel. I mean, it's just dirt road. It's not even a highway. And I remember we got to the highway. You had to go a little ways on the highway. I think about 5 or 6 miles on the highway. It's a small highway. No one's on there. Get on the highway. And I remember like, man, this is a big responsibility. I mean, I'm driving my mom's car. I got 2 other kids in the back. And I'm at the wheel. So on the way to the go roping, I was thinking, this is a big responsibility. And then we get to the go roping, having fun roping goats. And the go roping was over. And I remember there was some older kids that were up to no good. They were into, drinking and doing that kind of stuff. And I'm not judging no one, but I remember I was like, man, I have to stay away from those guys just because I need to figure out how to keep, like my parents' trust. So I stayed away from them. Anyway, stayed on my part. I went home, got home late at night. Mom and dad were already sleeping. They weren't even worried about me. They were sleeping. They never even woke up. So the next morning, they're like, how was it? I was like, it was good. That's all I asked. So I was like, you know what? I think I can do it again. So since that night, I learned what the word trust is, and if you have that, people will give you they'll give you anything. So I mean, like I said, that question was loaded, but I picked one subject. It's just I'm trying to think about all the times I was growing up, the life lessons that I remember when I was a kid, and I was taught. So now I feel like I have a lot of people that would trust me with whatever, whether it's letting me drive the trip to simple as that to let me borrow a lot of money or whatever. And if you have that trust, you can ask anybody about anything and get where you want to go. And so that's just one subject I picked, but there's a lot of different ones. I mean, there's a lot of life lessons I learned growing up on the reservation. Some of them I learned the hard way, but luckily enough, the trust part, I learned that at a quick age. And sometimes I still have a hard part doing it, but I do my best I can to keep my name in the trust party side.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I do know anytime I've been around you or anybody that has been around you that we do trust you because of the actions that you take to portray that type of character. And one of the stories that I think of is, and this has nothing really to do with anything, but I'm going to say it anyways, we were at the bar. But I was at the bar. Derrick was there picking somebody up from the bar. And he walked in. And I was really young. And he walked in and he's like, Sydney, what are you doing here? And I said, well, I'm dancing and I'm having fun. And he said, yeah, but all of these people that are here that look up to you because you're here, they think, yes, you did. Yeah, I remember this. This is like one of the things that sticks out in my mind. Anyways, he said, all the people that are here that look up to you see that you're here, and it makes them think that it's okay. And in that moment, I thought, oh my gosh, I need to get out of here. But wait a minute, Derrick, what are you doing here?
No, I probably did say that, but I was saying that just to make her jokingly feel bad. But I got nothing against going out at night. I got nothing against people that drink. I have really good friends that drink, have a good time. I have to like to dance. I got nothing against that. But I was probably just more saying it as a joking sense. But it's
Well,
it's all
15
good.
years later, I still feel bad about it. Every time I'm at a bar for more than 10 minutes.
No, I wouldn't worry about that. I wouldn't worry about you. As far as I know, you got trust under my belt, so you're good. I don't have. You're good. But no, it's just the drinking deal. It does have a bad image a little bit on certain people. But I've been around enough people. You can drink and have a good time, and I know a lot of friends through this rodeo world. People like to have a good time. So I know a lot of them that I can trust and I can depend on them, but it's just I don't have nothing against it.
Can you share a time in your life when you had to overcome fear and how you found the courage to persevere through that?
Getting up on the stage.
Yes, thank you.
Like I said earlier, fear is good. Fear is always going to be there. Fear is something that we need. Yeah, fear teaches you. Fear makes you make better decisions. Fear. It's bad that I'm talking the opposite way of fear because this show is fearless. We're supposed to be like pushing fear away, right? But fear it's something that we need. It's a teacher and stuff, but the way she says it, I understand what she says because I know it's there and she knows it's there, but it's the part where we have to overcome it. Whether it's health, whether it's mental, whether it's physical, whether it's just going apart your day or doing something to overcome it. So it's there, but don't feel bad sometimes if you can't overcome it at a certain time, because there's plenty of times where fear has gotten in the way of me to make a different decision. So there's some fear times, but there's the most time I think about where I overcome it. Fear is it's more just getting hurt. For me, anyway, is that would be more the fear of anything. So, like the age I'm at right now, I'm 42 years old, and that's what I think about more than anything is getting hurt. But like the fear to like fail or the fear to do something else, that I'm over that. I'm not scared to fail or I'm not scared to trip coming down here. I'm not. I mean, I'm scared of those things to a certain point, but not enough to change anything of what I'm doing. But you're right. There are people that have struggles every day when they're wanting to do something and they need certain help to get over that. And if everybody's situation is different, or everybody thinks different than everybody else, so there's certain ways that everybody that's sitting here has some sort of fear that they're dealing with. Everybody here has some sort of fear that they got over, and everybody's built different, but they're don't let it hold you back or don't let it control your life. But it's okay to say, you know what, I don't want to do that. That is not for me. I'm gonna go do something else or something. But I don't know. I mean, I grew up as a kid watching the PBR, and bull riding was my favorite sport. I grew up wanting to be a bull rider. I love bull riding. I love the bulls. I love the bull riding. But the fear was always there of me getting on bulls. So in my whole life, grew up riding sheep. I grew up riding calves. I grew up riding steers, and I grew up riding called junior bulls. They're really not a real bull. They're kind of a few steps lower. But I never got on a real bull just because the fear was always there. The fear of getting hurt. The fear of not whatever. So I'm glad the fear was there for that instance, because that's what made the decision for me to become a team roper. So when you look at those kind of things, fear actually kind of maybe leads you a different path to something that you're probably supposed to do. But I do regret it every now and then. I really do wish I won. I really do wish I've gotten a real bucking bull one time in my life just to see what it would feel like. But no, I rode a buffalo, you know.
I do know.
I told that story on here a couple of years ago, and this was a few years ago. I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Galloped in Mexico. I entered the buffalo riding, so I can have one of my friends get on this buffalo. I paid the entry fees and everything, but no one wanted to get on it. So the buffalo riding event was next, and I could not get no one to get on this buffalo. And I told myself, I said, what if I get on it just so I can say I've done it. Anyway, I was like, all right, I'll just do it. It can't be that hard. So anyway, they run these buffalo up into the chute, and these boogers are wild. I don't know anything about buffalo. They're trying to jump over the fence, getting them in the chute. The one I drew, they're like, that's yours. He goes in the chute. She's trying to jump out. And I was standing there like, what am I doing? Anyway, they tie a rope across and they put a bull rope on them. I got all these guys helping me. It's weird how when people want to see you do something dumb, everybody helps out. So everybody's like pumping me up, giving me a glove, putting a rope on them, like telling me do this, do that. Like they're just all for me. And like, anyway, so there's a story of fear, I guess. And I was scared. I was scared of what's going to happen. What if I get hurt doing something stupid? Like there's a lot of things going into my mind. But I told myself, I said, you know what? As soon as I put my leg over this chute to crawl down on this bull or this buffalo, I said, I don't care what happens. If I get hurt, it's this decision I made. If this buffalo comes out and trips, they don't buck that hard. So the only thing I was worried about is, what if this dumb buffalo comes out and trips and falls over and rolls over me? That was my only fear. I said, you know what? If that happens, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna ride him up. When he gets up, I'm gonna stay on him and just keep riding him. So that's what I told myself was as soon as I put my leg over this chute, I'm gonna block everything down. He falls down. I'm riding him up. That's what I told myself. So I guess that's a story of fear. But fear is good.
Ride another 8 for Lane. Right there at the Lions Club Rodeo in Gallup. Derrick Begay, conquering his fears. And I enjoyed the part of the story where you said that sometimes God guides your path with fear. So you might feel fear and it maybe transitions you to a different path and that's the path that you're really meant to go on. And sometimes you feel fear and you're supposed to take the next step as quickly as possible to roll through it in order to achieve what needs to be achieved for God's greater good. That's how I look at it. But I think the struggle is trying to figure out the difference when God's trying to tell you to go ahead and take the next step, even though you feel fear, or if God's telling you to change paths with that fear. How do you just distinguish between the two?
See that right there? That I think that's called living. You have to really pay attention to the details of what's going on in your life at the time, what's at stake. I mean, yeah, like we're here at the national finals, and when I go to rope, I'm scared of missing. I'm scared of messing up. I'm scared of doing all that stuff, and I think that's called fear. But do I ignore it? Do I want to do something different? No. But no, that's the question. That question is tricky because everybody's different. Everybody does what they want to do and stuff like that. So you have to pay attention to the details that's going on in your life. Don't overthink it where you think, oh, I need to do this and I know I need to go back to alley this and that. You kind of just have to kind of, well, for me anyway, I kind of like to just go through it without making any going back and forth. Or I don't like to be like a
Indecision.
yeah.
With indecision.
Yeah, I don't want to be like a head case. Like just I don't like to overthink things and go back and forth. I just like, well, I guess I'll just go this way and see what happens. And then we just kind of go from there. But you got to pay attention to the details. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. Everybody, in my opinion, the hardest thing in life is to make a decision. It's the hardest thing. That's the hardest thing to do. Every day we're faced with decision. Here in Las Vegas, we've been here for 12 days now, and it's hard. And I got a big family of 10, 12 of us every night, and we have a hard time finding a place to eat. It's a decision that's small, yes, but that's the hardest thing in my opinion in life is to make a decision because we're always trying to make the right one. It's easy to make the wrong one. We know what the wrong one is. The hard one's always the right answer is always the hard one. So, in my opinion, that's what I always think is the hardest thing in life is to make a decision, and that's all up to individually, all up to us. It's not anybody else's decision to make a decision for ourselves. So that's what I think.
Well, I heard a quote recently, and it said that to show the biggest trust in God is making a decision and trusting that no matter what, it's going to work out the way it's meant to be. So to trust God is just to go ahead and make the decision to see what happens, and that's the biggest trust that you could have.
Yes. And then sometimes you think you're making the right decision, and then he'll tell you no, you're not. You're making it wrong. There's that happens out there, and which is okay.
I have a few questions before we close. One is, as a hero for the Indigenous community, what is the most important message you want young individuals to take from your fearless approach to life?
These are loaded questions.
You're gonna slap me.
There's life is that big, and then you can pick any kind of lesson that you can learn, and it's hard for me just to pick one out because you can't have one without the other 700 that goes along with life. So pick one for me, and I'll try to.
You want me to pick something?
Well,
Well, the
I just read when we talked about trust a while ago,
That's
and
true.
that's just came to my head. But
If you say trust is the most important message you want young individuals to take from the way that you live your life, like what would the most important message be that you want to portray? As Derrick Begay. I liked how that rhymed.
let me just. I need to pick a subject again. Be friends. Be friends with a lot of people. I mean, I'm friends with you. I'm friends with your brother. I'm friends with Benji. I'm friends with. There's a lot of people in this Western lifestyle. It's a small deal, and you know a lot of people. I'm terrible at names, and I'm pretty good at faces. And I see these people all the time. Be friends with them, because it not only helps yourself, it helps them. It just makes you better. People want to be around you. People want to, I mean, hopefully talk to you. And which I'm not saying I'm good at it. I have a hard time myself, but I wish I was really good friends with a lot of people on a more personal note. Just because, I mean, it's good to go visit with people, and the same old question. Most of the time, you say, "How you doing?" They say, "Good." "How are you?" "I'm good." That's just how you're supposed to greet people. I was never grown up with that because we just lived off on our own and we never really seen people. So I grew up kind of in the shy and not wanting to go see people. I mean, I'm still that way. I don't want to go greet them. I don't want to visit with them. I just naturally don't want to do it. But you had to, and it's good for you because you learn so much. There's people out there that are everybody's smart in different ways. So when you get around and you get to visit with them, they'll teach you something that you didn't know, and then you'll go back home and it makes you feel smarter, it makes you feel better. So become friends with anybody you can, whether you think they're up here or whether you think they're bad. I got a lot of good friends that are bad, and then I got a lot of higher people that know a lot, that run big companies or businesses or whatever. So just I guess that would be a lesson that I'm gonna take right now is be friends with as many people as you can, and try your hardest to know their names, know their faces. So when you get to go talk to them, you can visit with them, you can know them, and be around them, and you can't go wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing bad about it. So that's just what I'm gonna pick now is become friends with anybody and wherever you can, and I guess they call it relationships. Make relationships with people.
And lastly, Derrick, what is the legacy that you would like to leave behind?
What's the timeline on that? Because I heard
I mean, it depends on what time you need to get to the rodeo.
no on the timeline of how is there a certain age you got to be to leave a legacy, or is it like or is it when like you pass away, or like where's like legacy? Like how far do you have to get in life to like finally like
I mean, we're not promised tomorrow. So today, what is the legacy that you want to leave behind today? Hope to leave behind.
I like how you use hope. Dang, these are some tough questions.
Okay.
Later, I'll get you one. I'm gonna try to keep it really simple. Um, I would like to leave like a just. That was good to be around, I guess.
Yeah.
Just good to be around, or like I want to say, like I knew that guy. I was glad to meet him.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah. A
that
good man. I was a good man.
I hope, but I'm not. I don't really. I don't really like live life to like leave a legacy. It's not like I wake up in the morning and say, "What can I do today to leave a legacy?" I just, I just do what I do or do what I'm doing, and if somebody sees that as a legacy, that is good. I'm glad they see something that I tried to be, I guess. And we all have our own name, and our name is like our brand. So when we're at a young age, we work every day or we work year after year to build a brand. and that's your name. So I've been working my whole life on trying to be who I am, and because that's my brand, and sometimes I mess it up, and sometimes I do good on it. But that's how I guess I feel like I look at a legacy as just trying to be a good person every day, and just it's a to try not to mess up as much as I can.
Thank you, Derrick. Part of the Ride Fearless show isn't just about how to be fearless, but it is to tell your guys', my guests, fearless stories. And I am so grateful that you chose to share your fearless story with us today.
The shows are tricky now. I gotta walk off here and try to be a good guy. I gotta go to the rodeo tonight and try to have no fear, just because I sat up here and said it. So these things are funny, and they I don't know, they make you feel good. They make you want to do better. Now I gotta actually walk straight and I walk out of here.
Well, just do your best. And like my mom says, just do your best and let God do the rest.
That's right.
Thank you so much, Derrick Begay, everybody. We sure appreciate you. I hope you feel inspired, and I really hope that you feel inspired to ride fearless. We will be right back here on this stage at 1 o'clock tomorrow.
I'm Amberly Snyder.